You are welcome to my studio. I am GB Bello, and in this week's tutorial I made something very interesting. Can you see it? I made a cowl blouse and I used two different fabrics. I used a plain cotton at the back and I used a blue net at the front. You can actually use just one fabric, but I will encourage that you should use a fabric that stretches because that gives the best result. Now, how did I achieve this? I only took measurement for my shoulder, and you know, if you are taking measurement for your shoulder, take the measurement of your shoulder from one edge to the other. Meanwhile, when you want to construct your pattern, because this is sleeveless, if you want to make a sleeveless like this, when you want to construct either your front or your back pattern, when you divide the shoulder measurement into two, assuming your shoulder is 15, you divided it by 2, which is 7.5, then subtract 1 inch from it because it's going to be sleeveless. If you are going to attach sleeve on the shoulder, you don't need to go through that stress. Just take your normal shoulder measurement divided by 2, then add your 0.5 inch for sewing allowance that you use to attach it to the sleeve. So that is that about the shoulder. So you also need your bust measurement, you need your waist measurement, you need your hip measurement for the upper part of your hip. For that, because the blouse is not actually going to go down to the full part of your hip, it's just going to rest on your hip. So that's why you only need the measurement for the upper part of your hip. How do you get that? Just subtract your hip measurement, subtract it by 2. Example, if your hip is 40, subtract it by 2, that makes 38. Then before you now divide it into 4 when you want to construct either your front pattern or your back pattern. You also need the length of the blouse. I think that is okay. You also need the armhole of measurement, so you need those basic measurement and you'll be done. The only difference between the back pattern and the front pattern is the cowl, and I only used 10 inches extension on the upper part of the front pattern, and that is what makes this cowl. I'm sure you want to know the basic measurement that I use for this neckline. Maybe you have tried it before, it didn't, and this one is so nice, it doesn't reveal anything. Even if I bend down, you can see, and it's not too wide, it's just okay. I'm sure you want to know what I use for this neck measurement. Don't worry, I always like to give a tutorial first, especially because of beginners, so they can know what it takes before we get to the pattern drafting. Now, have you downloaded your learning to sew course? If you don't have the course yet and you are a beginner, you want to learn to sew, that is a crime in fashion kingdom. You need to get that learning to sew course. It's a step-by-step guide that I've created. So many times people watch fashion illustrations, nice ones, either on YouTube or online, but they can't still get it. It's because you don't know the basics of sewing. So what happened is that I've created that learning to sew course like a workbook, so you can be able to learn all those nitty-gritties of fashion. When you get the workbook and you learn it with detail, anytime you are watching a fashion illustration, you easily flow because you have understood the basic. So for you to get that course, just check the link in the description. You can also get across to me and I'll hook you up with a copy. Now, before we go to the tutorial, the pattern drafting, I'll give you the basic details. So many people have told me that they love the way I explain. I'm a natural teacher. By the time I say connect A to D is called shoulder divided by 2, it makes it adventurous, it makes it interesting. By the time you are plotting in your own measurement and you just say that, well, I've been able to cut, it makes it easier to cut. So many people can't even cut before. By the time they go through my tutorials, they find it so easy. So before I go into that, let me tell you what I also did with this cowl blouse. I rocked it with a jacket. Let's see. Okay, this is my jacket, and I rocked it with this jacket, and it really looks so nice. So, madam, learn to sew for yourself. Maybe you created this over the weekend. Let me tell you, it only took me like 1 hour for both the cutting and the sewing. It shouldn't take you more than 2 hours. And then, can you see the way it looks? Doesn't this look so nice? Imagine if you made this for yourself over the weekend. And then on Monday, you showed up at the office, rocking your thing like this. Everybody will be like, ah, this, where is the boutique that you got that blouse from? You tell them it is me and my boutique.com. You know, so just go and try this out, and I would love to see it when you rock it. Now, check the link in the description. That is the link to the tutorial that I did. I made picture guides. As I was cutting this, I was snapping it, especially for the front pattern, so you can see how I turn the neckline and the armhole, so you can be able to do yourself accordingly. It is detailed. Just go and follow it, and it is also very simple. So check the link below and you'll be able to do. When you rock it, let me see. All right, I'll see you next time.